Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to go over here to Crypto in the News and make sure that you check out the one that we just posted. We felt like the Kroger topic about Visa and the consideration of using something on the Lightning Network. You may have heard of it. It's called Bitcoin. Kroger may be considering that in lieu of stopping use of Visa for their ridiculous transaction fees. So I felt like that was important enough to cover. Thank you for pointing that out to us, Kakashi and Kuma. So thank you also to the contributors for the news. We appreciate you, Cointelegraph, and at Medium.com, Curated Cube. Curated Cube, I believe that we see them on Twitter, so very cool. So good stuff. Now, Jordan posted this, I believe, January 25th, but it's one of those things that is just, it's a, lock your brain in the right place to kind of get into the news. So crypto news, instant insights, Archangel alts. So here we go. 3 ways blockchain technology will change the future. So I would, I'd provide the links so you can read them for yourself, and also to kind of give a thank you to the guys that took the time to make this stuff. Yeah. So they start with the definition of blockchain, and I think that they actually did a great way to describe it. They did a great job describing it. Peer-to-peer network that collectively verifies and records the transfer of digital information. Decentralized in nature, not like banks or governments. Decentralized nature of blockchain means that each network participant or node must carry a copy of the same information. You could call it a distributed database. So in honor of such, I'm going to call that a distributed database. This just in. Are you with me so far? Yep, I'm there. It's got consensus mechanisms. If the network successfully verifies the action, it's added to the blockchain where it's immutable. Can't stop it unless you stop the internet. While cryptocurrency is the primary application of blockchain technology, there are countless other use cases under development. Let's explore a few ways. My mouth is just not wanting to obey. Let's explore a few ways this rapidly evolving technology will change the future. You already see the first one. You already see it there. You know what it's going to be. It's number 1, period, space, healthcare. Healthcare system is a paper monster. Anything from charts, referrals, reports, diagnostic imaging are funneled into disjointed databases all over the world. But what if this information could be shared on a national scale or even globally? Well, it could be terrifying or it could be great. Blockchain. Hashtag blockchain. Dibba blockchain. @blockchain. This possibility is legit when utilizing a decentralized network. Healthcare records stored on a blockchain network could be accessed by physicians and patients anytime, anywhere. If that's not impressive enough, the information sharing and research possibilities are astounding. Something else astounding is, the breaches of privacy that have already been happening in the medical field. Horrible, terrible things. Do you believe that people have a certain right to privacy where corporations do not, where governments do not, where perhaps megacore insurance companies do not? Here's the thing, is that with blockchain, we want things like smart contracts and blockchain technology to be things that are accessible to the right people under any easy condition. The problem with that is that it also makes it susceptible to the wrong people. So much like the belief that a true owner of a cryptocurrency should have their own private key and stored in a safe place, even cold storage off of the whole chain, and the public key is something where you can trade back and forth to get anything into your wallet anytime. There are different people sitting on different sides of the fence about the privacy issue. My research that goes back to 2011, 2012, before there was any connection being made to crypto and blockchain being the technology that would fuel the future, the ideology and philosophies surrounding this open society concept were already floating out there. They go to kind of this interesting, it's a little bit of a spiritual thing. It's a new age group, future sci-tech, new age thought people who feel like nobody should have their own encrypted personal information about anything. That because we're all connected, we're all stardust, that we're all connected to each other, that therefore everything is meant to improve and be a resource for everybody else. It's a little bit socialist. Okay, it's a lot socialist. It's a ton socialist. So when you see that nodal network, one thing connecting everything to everything else, it just fits the bill perfectly of what we're doing with blockchain and Bitcoin. So there's the good and the bad and the something in between. But big data, future tech is going to cause those problems anyway. The fact that blockchain can provide a record that cannot be messed with is a good thing. I guess another part of the problem is that sharing records that are wrong could be an issue. Speaking just very briefly from personal experience, our family has undergone a lot of, those not so fun health emergency hospital stay type situations over the past year. Quite a good deal, more than most, more often, with more things. And there are good people in the industry. There's good people in insurance. There's good people in the hospitals. There's good staff. And then there's this broken system. And we're talking about somebody who, has spent an extensive time in a state-of-the-art facility. And the state of the art is not very artistic. It's, people have a very tough time communicating their part of the picture. Every doctor, every nurse, that's just their piece of the puzzle. Some of them care deeply, but can't possibly keep up with the information from everybody else the way the system is designed. And mistakes get made, and miscommunication is made. From just the simplest of, applying ointments to checking bags to make sure they have the right things, flowing through an IV. One person goes on the notes of another. They all know, micro milliseconds of the actual patient themselves. And so you look at these things, and let's say that doctor number one puts the wrong information on this immutable record that's passed through the blockchain. And, what do you do about corrections? I'm sure that they'll have to resolve those things anyway. But in the current computers and paper trail system that's already there, they're already in a network. They're already able to share information. But they're also looking at ways to monetize the sharing of information. And if you can't charge $1 for a piece of paper that cost you, a fraction of a penny, then they're not going to want to leave that to be. So you're going to have to choose your coins of choice to monetize the smart contracts that go along that flow of blockchain, and it's going to get ugly. So just, yes, it can revolutionize, absolutely. But in the meantime, as long as all these, systems of networks and cloud computing aren't, destroying things and messing things up, you're mainly dealing with the issue of fraud or misrepresentation of information more than other things, I think. But yes, it absolutely could. You're absolutely right. Curated Cube, it could do that. 2, global economy. Oh yeah, you better believe it. There are over 2 billion people in the developing world without a bank account. They are known as the unbanked. Sorry, guys. Let's get you a better bank. Let's get you wallets with crypto. There's a common misconception that all of these people are impoverished and destitute, but this perception is far from accurate. In many cases, countries don't have a well-developed payment infrastructure. Okay, I learned a lot about that too. Residents themselves may also lack the ability to read, write, or understand the usefulness of a bank account, which concerns me about their, how fast can those populations catch on to the concept of using a smartphone as a wallet and protecting a private key while copy-pasting or using a QR code for the other part. It's a little bit concerning, but those are issues that go into, socialization of economics. These commercial banks and the global economy are missing out on millions of transactions every day, equating to billions of dollars. Absolutely, no question. What if banking services were available to even a fraction of those 2 billion people via blockchain solutions? Yes. In short, it would grant them efficient and inexpensive access to the global economy, likely from their phone. Yes, very likely from their phone. I can actually show you the meetings from the guy that originated this thought concept. He teaches, secret societies are real. It's true. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to suddenly disappear somehow. But I'm really good with research on this side of things, and we know this guy. Here's his guy, see, talking about the ecosystem and having a dual payment structure where you can go in and out of fiat into something that is a second layer, so that people could take out loans on that second layer, and it could trade instantly and from one ecosystem flowing into the other. It's amazing how the thought leaders in this are the cutting edge of economies, global economies, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, World Wildlife Federation, all this other stuff. Very centralized, about as centralized as it can get. And yet they're advising to do this. So guys, just as a, heads up, it's going to be more highly information-driven, high-tech decentralization. That's the bad news. The good news is that it should buy a few years of freedom, and that might be all that it takes for the people to rise up in a good way. Don't rise up and then ask for socialism. It hasn't worked well in the past. Number 3, voting. Yeah. Get rid of the current, fraud in the ballots for sure. Except that how are you going to validate all those people? So we don't want to get tagged, right? We don't want to be GPS tagged and little microchips for everything, right? In recent years, there have been countless claims of voter fraud. Yeah, you better believe it. Even better blockchain applications could allow for the establishment of an online voting system available anywhere in the world. With voter turnout for presidential elections hovering around 55% in the U.S., isn't that ridiculous? It seems likely that this convenience would dramatically improve voter turnout. That's true. ID verification, that's a really tricky one. Anybody can be anything online, so they'd have to figure out some pretty tricky stuff. But great food for thought article. I appreciate it. Do that. So go visit it, check it out, read it for yourself. Here we are, Cointelegraph. Tron and Tether partner to issue USDT on the Tron network by Q2 2019. That's just a couple of months, within the couple of months window. That's a really big deal. Blockchain protocol, Tron, and Tether, issuer of stablecoin, have announced a partnership to introduce USDT, which is Tether, to join the Tron network by the second quarter 2019. The news was shared with Cointelegraph in an email March 4th. The forthcoming TRC20 based USDT, that's kind of like a more advanced ERC20 Ethereum token, a term that indicates adherence to a technical token standard supported by the Tron blockchain, will be interoperable with all Tron-based protocols and decentralized applications, dApps, and allows for the transaction and exchange of fiat-pegged coins across the blockchain. Okay, coins plural, meaning stable coins can be used across the Tron blockchain. Okay, that's all good. A little bit of lack of vision on what it is that's coming with the diluting of value if you try to open the net too wide for every single stablecoin coming, because guess what? They're going to be government issued, and that's a little bit of a problem. Because if you think of the technology, it is free for everybody, but unfortunately that makes it really easy for dictatorships, tyrants, rising forces, greedy people with bad intentions, governments, banks, etc., 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 etc. It's a libertarian's nightmare. But the truth of the matter is the decentralized aspect of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology lie 100% in the philosophy, because the technology can be used for any purpose. So decentralized is a philosophy that must be empowered by the people. It absolutely should. Not trying to sound like, I don't want to sound like Che, just saying that this is one of those things that is a people power kind of movement. Let's agree on the more important points, because we do need a louder megaphone. Hashtag, yo. Tron, which positions itself as a competitor to Ethereum by coupling decentralized finance with a wider decentralized internet ecosystem, claims that the addition of USDT will therefore elevate its existing decentralized applications, improve overall value storage, and increase decentralized exchange liquidity. Okay, agreed. There's other downsides, upsides, etc. As Cointelegraph has reported, the BTT initial coin offering on the Binance Launchpad platform netted $7 million with the sale of 50 billion tokens in under 15 minutes. So what is this about? The expansion of the Tron ecosystem took a significant step last year with this acquisition of a popular peer-to-peer torrent called BitTorrent The latter launched its native Tron-based BitTorrent token at the start of 2019, which will power the pair's plans for an evolving decentralized content distributed platform. Now, it's kind of funny. It's taking the context of torrenting and taking it into the legitimate in the same way that blockchain does. I mean, really and truly, that's what blockchain is. It's an immutable ledger-based. I mean, peer-to-peer network means torrenting. So, it's just that we want to do legitimate things with it. So, there's some shady things about Tron that I'm not a huge fan of, but they are doing some things to legitimize what they are doing with the network. The fact that they worked with Binance to launch BTT, unfortunately, there is a little bit of a spammy pump and dump type nature to some of the things that Sun, aka Tron, has done. I'm not going to be anti anybody that I don't see, trying to find their way in their own path, et cetera, but I may not agree. The stablecoin has previously faced controversy after critics had suggested that the dollar reserves did not match. They're talking about Tether here, and Tether proved that they had everything in reserve. They didn't really have to, but they said they did, so therefore they had to prove it. Tether has not released an official audit of its holdings. Not true, they did. Okay, sorry, they did. Not accurate information. All right, but guess what? That's not where I'm going to focus. I think the focus right here, Tron and Tether partner to issue USDT on the Tron network by Q2 2019. I think that's huge. Thank you for sharing that information, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Excellent article. Read it for yourself. And this time, Anna, SEC, Crypto Mom. Delay in crypto regulation may allow more freedom for technology. Sounds good. Let's see. Commissioner of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission said Friday, February 8th, that the delay in establishing crypto regulation may allow more freedom for the industry to move on its own. Okay, guys, if it's somebody with the SEC saying something really important and smart, that's not a bad sign. Heister Pierce, who is widely known as the Crypto Mom in the community for her dissent against the SEC's decision to reject a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund proposed by the Winklevoss twins, made the comments in a speech on the issues of state regulation at the University of Missouri School of Law. Sounds like worth time to pay attention to that. Discussing the delays, Pierce said, ambiguity is not that bad. We might be able to draw clearer lines once we see more blockchain projects mature. Delay in drawing clear lines may actually allow more freedom for the technology to come into its own. Please, please, please listen to what she's saying. She's smart. It's right. It's true. The commissioner noted that the process of regulating a new industry might be lengthy and stressed that the SEC has to act appropriately in order to enable industry to evolve without compromising the current laws. People, come, trade with us. Learn how to do it. Get on the Binance exchange. Save. Put that savings into Bitcoin. Come and trade it. Even if the value goes up 1,000, down 1,000, as we grow through the exponential growth curve, guess what happens? You're going to have so much Bitcoin if you do it right that we want them to take more time to do all this other stuff. We want to be the mass adoption. We don't want them, governments. I mean, why wait on government to bring the people to a people-led movement? Get up out of your lazy chair and come join the ladder megaphone movement. If we act appropriately, we can enable innovation on this new frontier to proceed without compromising the objectives of our securities laws, protecting investors, facilitating capital formation, and ensuring fair, orderly, and efficient markets. Okay, so for all the negativity on the SEC and the feds and the U.S. government and all these different things, don't you think that maybe there's something good in the fact that they're not coming to stamp down their disapproval of blockchain? There are many people that have been saying very similar things from the SEC, that it's not bad reasons that we're not doing the ETFs right now. Okay. Do you really want to have things go from where they are right now to where you can only trade crypto on NASDAQ until 5:30 p.m. or 4:30 or 5:30, whatever it is, and then the after hours cuts the 24/7 cycle, down to 3% of what it is right now? And then have $5 per trade fees instead of 0.1% of whatever it is that you're trying to trade. Guys, seriously, this cannot be done through the traditional way of doing things. And the Winklevosses already have thousands and thousands of Bitcoins, and now they're getting fees from every single other person other than Coinbase that is trying to buy Bitcoin. Of course, they want regulation because they just can sit back and just let it all flow to them. Their idea of changing things for the future, I mean, seriously, how many thousands of Bitcoins do you really need before you're happy? So, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy greed. And the more you have, the more greedy you get. So I'm telling you, liquidity is the answer to mass adoption. I would rather have, let's say that there's 10 million people right now that all have some clue how to trade on an exchange. I would much rather see every single one of them know exactly what I know and go and trade exactly that way right now. It would not even mess up any of our positions like other people's methods. Part of the reason that you will find that traditional stock traders will tend to limit their subscriber base is because they don't want to screw up their positions, even when they're only doing one every day or 2 days or 3 days. Okay? So seriously, get on board. If you want to see healthy crypto, we could do this now. Get started, get rolling. I'm not pushing this just because we have a program. I mean, we've barely even started, getting all these different things launched. I've been doing this silently for about 16 months now, and it's working for us. We see the concern for people not onboarding the way that they need to. So get out of your lazy chair, come and register at archangelalts.com, register on Binance, use our referral that's in the links. It's always in the links, and come and join us. You have questions, I will answer them. I want you to be informed. Yes, we do have a free section and a paid section, but we're being extremely, extremely open, transparent, and flexible to make sure that you know what you need to know. And our few first members are already seeing big profits for themselves. They have improved using our methods, and it's really fun to have it be the start of a community. So if you are any of our Twitter people, if you are any of our Facebook people, whatever area you like to dwell other than on archangelalts.com's Slack groups, please, please, please get the word out and let's join together and be a community. Even if this entire thing happened as a free community, it would be worth the time. But we have to be the leaders in our own mass adoption movement. Enough said. That's the news for now. Archangel Alts out.